as mighty armies clash in a struggle for total domination.
But that's me!
Woo! All right, yeah, woo, yeah, woo, yeah, woohoo! Awesome. Yeah, exactly. All right, settle down, audience. Settle down. Yeah. All right, welcome, gentlemen, to episode 5 of Culture Warriors. This is the Mortal Kombat episode. Yeah. Awesome. Well, fuck it, we're doing it live today, man. I was trying to pull up the damn link to the Warner Brothers leaked audio that they had. So basically, like, for those of you who are not aware, Mortal Kombat 12 is coming out later this year. It was leaked in a private Warner Brothers investment call, which kind of sucks to the guys over at NetherRealm Studios, but you know what? It's just too bad. So yes, we got Mortal Kombat 12 coming out later this year, which is going to be tons of fun. I know, Governor, obviously with your little Shao Kahn in front of you, you are a Mortal Kombat fan, of course. So I hope you are as hyped for this game as I am, because I've been a Mortal Kombat fan for, God, how long? I mean, obviously since the 90s, you know, when they actually had the arcade machines back then, because it was kind of like an excuse for us to go to the arcade and play like the adult games, you know? Could like rip the head off one of your friends or something like that. Oh man, is it fun? Yeah, and I do absolutely love one of my favorite things that you do on Twitter is every time you see like a hot chick, Governor, you just link that Shao Kahn quote from Mortal Kombat 11.
You will join my concubine.
Yeah, it's so perfect.
I tried that on Tinder, by the way. It doesn't work.
Oh, really? Yeah. But we'll have to work on it. So, fantastic. So, Jack, how you been?
I had a terrible, shitty fucking week that started last Saturday, and it still hasn't ended yet. Some couple of good things, mostly bad. It sucked, but I'm here. Your guys are queer, but I'm used to it. But the thing about Mortal Kombat, I've never played it when I was younger. Yeah, no? like we didn't have like the arcades like you guys in the States do. And I got a Super Nintendo when I was, how old was I? 7, maybe 8, and I was right around the end of the Super Nintendo library closing. Was right around when the Nintendo 64 came out. So I never really introduced to Mortal Kombat. Only later when I grew up, like the violence and stuff like that. I do know that Sega actually had the blood and Nintendo didn't.
Yeah, that's what it was back in the day. I mean, you know, Mortal Kombat is the reason we have ratings for video games. You know, the ESRB rating is just because, you know, it was way too over the top back in the day, ripping people's heads off and pulling out people's hearts and everything like that. And they're like, oh, we kind of need to actually have ratings for these. So, you know, our parents didn't get swindled into getting something for their kids that they probably shouldn't have. So we have them to thank for that. But to be honest, you know, if we want to tie this into, you know, like politics and stuff, the ESRB is not government run in any way. It's just done by the gaming companies, you know, so it's not a government institution. So, you know, it was just something that they did to avoid regulation. So good for them, in all honesty. And it's pretty balanced system, in my opinion.
I remember playing Soldier of Fortune. Like, you guys remember that game?
I have a game called Soldiers of Fortune.
And
hold on.
I believe it was just Soldier of Fortune. It was pretty brutal. It was especially like you could shoot off limbs and things like that. And I was playing that when I was 9. Yeah, I had to be 9. Somewhere around there is shooting off limbs and things like that. Like, it was brutal. And
that explains a lot about you.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even half. But I remember a kid in our neighborhood. He was at the toy store with his mom, and I was there too. And he knew I had Soldier of Fortune, and he was like, "Can you tell my mom this game isn't really as violent as it looks?" It's like, I'm not gonna do that. It's like, no, you can shoot people dick off, you know. It's like, you know.
Wow.
No, go look that up. The original Soldier of Fortune. It was absolutely brutal. I remember it being PG 18 or something like that. I was like, holy shit. I don't even know how I got that game.
That's definitely not the one I was thinking of, because
There
I
was,
have.
no, go ahead,
Yeah.
Governor.
Oh no, I was gonna say I have Soldiers of Fortune, which was called something else, I think, in Europe, but it was much different than that. It wasn't very violent or anything, not like Mortal Kombat was, at least. Like, I think I still have the original. I do have the original Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis before they rated it.
Oh,
and
really?
then I have Mortal Kombat 3 where they did rate it right there. So,
oh wow.
2 was where they rated it MA17 before they switched to the ETM rating or whatever. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean those original 3, like in the arcade era, when they were 2D, were great. I don't know about you, Governor. I did not like pretty much any of the 3D era Mortal Kombat games, like Mortal Kombat 4 through like up until 9. I didn't care for them.
I was blessed not to have played any of the 3D ones except for Armageddon when it came out on PS2. And I had fun with that one to a degree, but I remember that was just because it had a huge arrangement of characters. But I remember thinking,
it had every Mortal Kombat character ever.
Yeah.
It?
And I went, but what is this fighting style change, weapon equip? I was like, I didn't like any of that. I just wanted to be able to, and the fatalities too, like they were all custom. And I went, no, I just want a unique fatality for everybody. But other than that, the story was cool. The story was really cool about it, and it was it was like series changing. But it was, other than that though, I didn't get anything until Mortal Kombat 9, and I had it on my PS Vita, I believe. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was mobile. I mean, Mortal Kombat 9, when they pretty much did like a soft reboot of the entire series, and they went back to the 2D style of fighting, which was a fantastic decision in my opinion. And then obviously Mortal Kombat 10 was one of the best-selling games of the year in 2015. And then personally, I know like the professional fighting game community likes Mortal Kombat 10 better than Mortal Kombat 11, but I really enjoyed Mortal Kombat 11. I thought it was a very, very good balance of everything. I thought the mechanics are really, really good. And the rumors are that 12 is going to go back to kind of like a Mortal Kombat 10 style, where it's way more fast-paced, way more combo heavy, because it just appeals more to like the esports scene and everything like that. So we'll see what they do with that. As it relates to like the story and everything, I thought Mortal Kombat 11 story kind of sucked. I didn't think it was very good. But we'll see what they do with that. Whenever you bring in like time travel mechanics into a story, it just inevitably causes problems, you know, because it doesn't have like any stakes to your story. And especially literally, depending on which ending you got for Mortal Kombat 11, they just reset the entire timeline. Like
every time. Yeah. I noticed that too.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, great. I just played through this game, and all these like actually really interesting like story changes to a lot of like characters you really like, and they're just completely undone because like, we're just gonna reset the whole timeline again. I'm like, okay, so why did I play this story again? This is weird.
And then the end of the DLC also had it where you got to choose whether Liu Kang or Shang Tsung was the one who won, and obviously I like Shang Tsung's ending better just because the world is mine kind of ending. But I was thinking to myself, well, now they've got the option to go in jump into 12 and have like this multiverse game where it could be like, oh, the world where Shang Tsung won goes against the world where Liu Kang is essentially the fire god or whatever he is, and it's gonna really mix things up. Like that's the way I see it, is that it's now it could be less time. I feel like it's gonna be less time based and more. We have the opportunity now to just jump into multiple versions and universes and whatnot instead of, ignore the idea of the reboot like 9 did and just, say, oh, that was just another universe or something. Just, I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, I mean, we could tie this into, like the MCU, what they're doing right now. They're having like these 47 different multiverses and everything now. And it's just, number one, it's hard to keep track of everything. And number two, even harder to be invested in everything because you just have no stakes anymore. Like I haven't seen the new Ant-Man or anything like that. I mean, God, I haven't seen a Marvel movie since Endgame. But I like watching, our standard YouTube nerdrotic crowd, and everybody review it, and they're just going through like what's going on in the new Ant-Man. It's like literally the entire fate of all timelines and all universes and everything is at stake in this one movie. And I'm like, okay, well, why am I even watching this anymore?
Yeah,
I still don't understand why my friends went to see Ant-Man, Quantum Mania, or whatever it's called these days. It's like, guys, can we just quit this garbage? It's so garbage. Like I had a whole conversation with Nuclear Gambino.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw he went on one of your Truth casts. I didn't get a chance to watch it. How'd that go?
Oh, that was amazing. We talked about Demon Slayer and shit like that. And
it's cool.
Yeah, Tanjiro from Demon Slayer and what's his name? The second Hashira that's in there with the 3 wives. The guy with a massive arms. And how much of a badass he is. That was pretty much the entire conversation.
Nice.
Right.
But it's like when you have that, why would you want to watch the MCU anyway? It's like modern media, modern Western media is not made for you. Don't watch it. Like people actually rejoiced when the news broke that Warner Brothers are going to make new Lord of the Rings. Motherfucker, it's 2022, 2023 even. How do you think that's going to turn out?
That's
not good.
Well, it's even more absurd because I was actually looking into what even rights they have to everything, and Warner Brothers, the only rights they have to for Lord of the Rings is the Third Age. It's like, well, we already did like all the major events of the Third Age here with like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So what the hell else could you possibly do?
They already did Hobbit.
Yeah. It's like what else are you gonna do? You know, like, oh, we're gonna go into the after Lord of the Rings and see, you just know it would be something really stupid where it'd be like, oh no, Sauron wasn't actually defeated, and now Arwen has to step up and be the strong woman because Aragorn isn't a good king or something stupid.
Tolkien actually did wrote a story after Lord of the Rings. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It never got published, but it was more of an idea and concept than actually fully written story. Something about the Tree of Evil.
Oh, interesting. I don't know too much about that. No, I mean, like, I'm just thinking through my mind, like, what else could you possibly do? Like, maybe like the scouring of the Shire, but like they already killed Saruman, like Christopher Lee, like in the Lord of the Rings movies, and so how are you gonna do that? It's just all this is just a bad idea.
But
like,
who has the first age then and the second?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, like Amazon is so stupid they didn't even buy the rights to the Silmarillion, which is literally where they're basing most of their show off of, and they can't even do that. You know, like all the major events of the Second Age are all in there, and they can't even sample from it because they're absolute morons.
I want to see the War of Wrath or the Last Alliance, like shit like that.
Yeah. All that stuff would be infinitely more cool than the crap that they gave us. No.
I wouldn't mind seeing Legolas and Gimli's adventures afterwards, because didn't they go and start like killing off the remaining orcs and stuff and going on adventures and everything till they basically Gimli got old and died or something like that? They just stayed friends. I was like, I always liked that friendship.
They go to the Undying Lands.
Yeah,
eventually.
Gimli Undying?
Yeah. Gimli.
Merry and Pippin. Merry and Pippin go on a bunch of adventures and they eventually die.
Maybe that's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah. But Gimli founds a dwarf colony in the mines of Helm's Deep.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I forget. There's like some special name for his dwarf colony that he founds there. And then
I gotta read that again. It's been like a decade since I've read or finished like the extra stuff and the unfinished tales and all that. I gotta jump back into that to remind myself because I totally forgot about that. That's cool. Let's bring it back. Happy New Year.
I know that they've got I guess there's something in the works. They're doing that. What's that like anime movie?
The Ride of the Rohirrim anime movie, which is about the war between the Haradrim and Rohan, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is going to be cool because we're going to have a lot of Muma kills.
Yeah, that would be really cool. God,
that would be sweet.
That's still such an amazing scene to this day. The battle.
Oh, Bernard Hill. Hill's like fucking acting right there, like.
Oh
like,
yeah,
face.
Yeah. He's like, oh, are you kidding me? Yeah,
like we won, and oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, he's like, make safe the city, and he turns around, you see 20 of these absolutely like hulking behemoth monsters, walking towards you, and you're like, how the hell are we supposed to deal with these?
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck me, tender.
Yeah, really.
Oh.
And then he makes like the same face when like the Witch King comes flying in to get him too. He's just like, oh man, I can't escape this.
Yeah,
This is
like,
coming for me, and I'm doomed.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Mm.
Not even that, but like the facial expressions are just so good because you can just see the horror in his face. Like, no.
Yeah,
they're great. They stay great. Never will. Nothing will ever trump the actual Lord of the Rings films.
Never. And we're just so lucky that they ended up as good as they did. I mean, honestly, like it's so amazing when you actually go back and read like the hoops that Peter Jackson had to jump through just to get the movies made. Originally they wanted to do 2. They just wanted to put all the movies into 2, and
Like
he
The
really
Hobbit.
petitioned. Yeah, and he really petitioned. He's like, no, we're doing a trilogy. We're making 3 of these, and like to make movies straight back to back to back like that was already an undertaking in itself. And they founded a whole new production company for it because nobody else would sign on for it because they didn't want to sign up for 3. So they founded New Line Cinema Entertainment just to make these 3 movies, and they all turned out amazing. And honestly, had they like come out 5 or 6 years later, they would have been infested with woke bullshit and nonsense, and they would have been completely ruined. So really, that's honestly, I've had previous discussions about this. That is where I put the death of old Hollywood, is Return of the King. That's it. Like that's the apex, and quite frankly, that's just when it ends.
But even in Return of the King, like production wise, things are showing, and that's coming from me. I mean, how much of a evangelist I am when it comes to Lord of the Rings, but even there, certain things start to show where it's like a lot of CGI and no little or less practical effects, but also with the editing, like here and there, a couple of things are off. But even Viggo Mortensen was like, he didn't enjoy the third one as much as he did the first 2 because there was way more green screen involved.
You kind of had to for some of the shots, but yeah, it's just like, are we really going to pick apart like the 3 greatest movies of all time?
No, I
would also say though that CGI back then was pretty good for its age. Even now, if you look at 2003 films, Pirates of the Caribbean came out the same year, and it still looks good now.
It still looks great. Still one of the best movies ever made, though.
Oh,
I do like Pirates 2 as well.
Me too. Oh yeah, I love Pirates 2.
Yeah, I know a lot of people ripped on Pirates 3 as well, but
honestly, I have fewer problems with Pirates 3, and I'll say it, even 4 and 5 compared to most movies out today.
100%.
Like I had at least fun watching certain aspects of 4 and 5, the lesser good ones.
Not with
compared
5.
to movies today.
Okay, now I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna like Pirates 5, in my humble opinion, can be cluttered in with all the garbage that's coming out today. I thought 5 was an absolute shit show.
I only saw it once, and I barely remember anything about it.
Barbossa's daughter, who was like,
I remember
the key to everything.
Yeah.
That's when they started doing that nonsense. But I love Barbossa as a character too, though. He's so good. Just Jeffrey Rush in anything is cool to me. So it was just like that take that you had earlier, Hawk, about you posted on Twitter about the first Hobbit movie being, enjoying it. And I said, so when it came to the next 2 Hobbit movies, my saving grace was Thranduil. Like, he's just one of the coolest characters I've ever seen. And you know what? I'm fine with that. Lee Pace stole the show for me there.
Yeah. I think he did a good job with the role for what he was given, but yeah.
That face. Yes. Inshallah.
Yeah, exactly. It's what is the bad word they have? Haram. Yeah,
haram.
Yeah, Rings of Power is haram. Yeah.
But I do like, it is sad about The Hobbit that Ian McKellen just broke down in tears at a certain point.
Yeah.
Because he was acting against the green screen and with he was talking to no one. He just broke down. It's like,
yeah,
poor man.
And I thought about it's interesting because I thought about that earlier when it comes to the Hobbit movies. I love Christopher Lee. Y'all know he's my favorite actor, and like I think to myself when you see him play, he says "Leave Sauron to me" and walks away. I go, that's the last time we'll ever see him as Sauron ever again, or Saruman ever again. And
what was his last role even?
I think it might have actually been it.
I was gonna say it was
right
probably it actually.
Not something in Tim Burton's films?
Maybe. I mean, like, it was right there because that came out in 2014. He died in 2014. So
yeah, he died in June of 2015.
Oh,
and
15.
let's see, I'm looking up. Yeah, I remember when it happened. I was like, oh man, what? Filmography. Yeah, he's got to have his own page on Wikipedia of his filmography. It's that big.
Of course, it's so big.
I love that.
I still love the Count Dankula 2-hour video on Christopher Lee.
Oh yeah, absolute mad lad. That is one of Dank's best videos. Yeah, if people haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's very good.
How he tells that Peter Jackson, the 5'4" man, was now supposed to tell the absolute giant of a man that is 6'2", Christopher Lee, that he would not be playing Gandalf. It's like,
I love so much the behind the scenes footage you see of Christopher Lee telling Peter Jackson what it actually sounds like to stab a man. He's like, no, you wouldn't sound like this. You'd sound like that. You could actually hear the air escaping his lungs when you stab him.
He would not be gasping for air. His air would leave his body. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like literally Christopher Lee.
It's like Madlet. What would show it to you?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah,
it's the total rage in London right now.
What an amazing actor. I mean, obviously, like Governor, you're a fan of him as Count Dooku, of course. Did you guys ever see The Wicker Man?
No.
Oh
no.
Boys had a good movie, very good horror movie.
Really?
I think it came out in 73 or something like that. So basically, like, Christopher Lee's character plays this Lord Summersile, or is the guy's name, and he's basically this cult leader on like an island in the UK, and they're into a bunch of like paganism and stuff like that. It's a very thought-provoking movie and very dark. Probably one of his best roles, to be honest. He just steals every single scene he's in. So definitely would recommend. But oh man, I mean, back to our discussion of extreme violence and everything, and Mortal Kombat and everything like that.
Yeah.
What are some other like standout violent games from your guys' youth that your parents are trying to hide from you and prevent you from playing, or were your parents kind of cool?
Yeah. Okay. Soldier of Fortune is one. I mean, just look that up. How violent that got. GTA 3. No, GTA 2. GTA 2 is one which was pretty brutal. And of course, later on, it was 3.
That was one I was going to mention too. I mean, I had the opportunity of playing it at like my aunt's house because my cousins got to play stuff when they were younger that I wasn't allowed to. But I had so much fun with that, and Diablo also. That was just, to me, it's such a dark story, but it's so good. The first one especially, to me, just has such good horror vibes and so dark and brutal. You got the butcher as the first boss you fight, and you have no idea what you're expecting. You open the door and see bodies hanging on pikes and beheaded and all that, and you're just chopping up meat.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh yeah. Leisure
I
Suit
never
Larry.
played it. I do remember it was on a floppy disk, but I didn't understand it. I was like, this game is stupid. Then I shut it off.
This is the damn game I was thinking of. Manhunt. Yeah, that's the one.
I heard about it.
Man, that's the one that's like super brutal. It's like you're like this hitman who just whacks dudes in the most brutal ways possible. Like, oh man. Yeah, that was one that got a lot of media attention back in the day.
Oh, yeah,
I never
I'm
played
looking it up.
myself.
My dad had the second one actually on his PS3, I think. I think that was the one. Yeah. I remember I was like, really? Okay, cool. And I checked it out. I was like, yeah, that was a brutal game. God.
I remember the cover was already scary. It's like, ooh, what is this game? I saw it for PS2, I believe.
Did you guys ever get into like horror video games?
No.
Me neither.
Till this day. a friend of mine, he found it hilarious to let me play Insomnia, and I just like pushed the chair away at a certain point because I there was a jump scare and I just flew back.
Yeah,
He had the time of his life.
I don't even care for most like horror movies. You know, like I'll watch like the monster movies, like Alien or Predator and stuff like that. But I don't care for like the spooky like ghost movies. I don't take joy in like jump scares and being frightened. No, just like no.
Yeah, see, for me, when it comes to horror, I do enjoy horror movies, but they have to be more psychological than boo. You know, because when someone just jumps out and scares you, predictable or not, it's not really horror to me. It's just boo, you got surprised, haha, you jumped, you're scared. It's like, no, that's not what horror is to me. Like, as a genre, it's
I
so
feel
much
like
deeper than that.
what I feel like is best for like the video game genre is something like suspense. And the game that stands out to me in this kind of thing is like Resident Evil 4. Like you're in very tight corridors, the controls kind of suck. You're shooting over the the shoulder and everything like this, and you have only a certain amount of techniques and tactics and skills that you can use to keep people away from you. Like kind of like what Call of Duty like Zombies should have been, but like that one was like too fast paced. Like I don't know. That's something that stands out to me.
You guys ever seen the film Storm of the Century by Stephen King?
No.
Speaking of like suspenseful horror, I remember seeing that as a child. Again, explaining a lot. But that was just so absolutely terrifying because of how he psychologically tortured an entire town. Because it's about something like a giant snowstorm is passing through a town, and everybody needs to get into like the townhouse. What do you call it? The township house, the big fancy meeting house.
Right.
But apparently Satan himself is there, and he just starts fucking with the people, and at a certain point he just wants them to sacrifice their kids and all shit like that. But it's not your typical spooky jump scare thingamajig. He really like psychologically tortures these people. And it's fucked up. Again, explaining a lot.
Yeah. That's
reminds me of something like The Shining.
Well, it is Stephen King.
Yeah. That's true. I think about there's two horror games that come to mind of mine that my best friend and I used to play a lot. There was Outlast, which takes place in an asylum, and people are just being tested on stuff, and they basically try to kill you. It's one of those I kind of learned to appreciate no weapons type of horror games where you are the victim and you are being hunted, but you have no way to really defend yourself otherwise. Like that makes it even better. So there was a game Outlast that came out. Yeah, go for it. I was gonna say, Outlast is good. The second one was all right. I think it was a little stranger than the first one, but the other one that comes to mind out of the two I was mentioning is y'all remember when Silent Hill was supposed to have a friggin' sequel called Silent Hills? And
I never got into that.
It was supposed to be. It was being made by why can't I think of his name right now? The dude that did Metal Gear. Freaking God.
Anyway, Kojima.
Yes.
Kojima, there we go. It was supposed to be made by Kojima and Guillermo del Toro too. It was going to be like a joint effort with them, starring Norman Reedus. And and
didn't you do Death Stranding?
He did. So they ended up doing Death Stranding together because the Silent Hills sequel got canceled, but it was called PT, which stood for Playable Trailer. If you get a chance to look that up, watch it on YouTube without commentary, and you get an idea of what it is. It's a beautifully made game. Like you're just in a house and you're stuck in this like labyrinth where you're going in a loop the whole time, but you basically have this like ghostly lady that kind of ends up stalking you the further into it you get. And it's pretty terrifying, actually. And it's a different experience every time you play it. Every time you play it, she could pop out at any moment, or she might not at all. She'll make weird noises that she didn't make the last time you played it. And it's so It was
I
so
can
deep.
understand. I can understand why that would be appealing, but I will never touch a game like that.
No, same here. I am actually pretty much a big scaredy cat when it comes to that. It's like, nah, I don't need to do that. No, thank you. Like, hey, want to watch a horror movie? No, thanks.
No
I'll
horror
just stay
movie
at
for
home,
me.
play with Pokemon cards. I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
exactly. I mean,
The only
dude, I
ghosts I wanna
remember.
deal-
I
the
remember
ghosts
when
I
I
wanna
was a
deal with are
kid.
ghost type.
Yeah, exactly. Ghost types. Yeah, Gengar, Haunter, Ghastly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do want. I
That's all you-
wish I could get a Gengar. I mean, that would be my soulmate Pokemon. That would just be amazing if I had a Gengar. I would fuck people's day up so bad with him.
Would that be your favorite Pokemon to have? Like, if you would pick one?
If of all of them, he's up there. He's definitely in the top 3.
I never really cared for ghost types that much, but I mean, there definitely are some really, really good ones. I don't know. I'd have to think. I'd have to have a long think.
Meter, Shadow Ball. They've got a pretty good attack choice. I mean, Alakazam is even better. Mostly because psychics were broken in Gen 1. So
yeah. Did they not have any weaknesses back then?
No, psychic back then didn't have any weaknesses.
They had bug type.
Bug
type. They were weak against bug, but there was such a limited pool of bug type moves back then that it almost didn't matter.
Bug types are garbage anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then I guess and ghost type, but the only good ghost type move you had was what? Lick, and Nightshade was the damage equivalent to your level, so it didn't matter. It didn't like double or anything against the psychic. But Lick was about the only move you had. And that was a very weak move.
The best option you had with a ghost type was Hypnosis and Dream Eater.
Yeah. Do you guys know the what's the 4 best moves in Pokemon? Harden, Pound, String Shot, Recover.
Yeah.
Splash.
No, but my top 3 would definitely be Charizard, Gengar.
Yeah, you have to pick Charizard.
Yeah, I have to. I am a heat person. It's like if I get angry enough, I would actually be able to breathe fire. So it resonates with me. But Gengar and oh man, like what can I choose from? The first 151?
We'll be here all day if you include all of them. You know, so
I mean, I only enjoy the first 251 anyway. So, oh man, the third Gyarados.
Yeah, that'd be up for me too. That one's pretty cool. I always liked Scyther. I thought Scyther was really cool.
My friend made the comparison because we did the same questionnaire, and he's like, you know what, Gyarados would suit you. I'm like, why? Well, because he came from this derpy, dweeby, useless garbage of a Pokemon, and he grew into that. I'm like, okay, I can see that.
Oh my gosh, we could use that as some kind of metaphor for some dudes on Twitter.
I was just thinking about that right now. Like, our friend Raul, we could call him. Yeah, we could call him. We should tell our friend Raul. We could call him a Magikarp. Yeah.
We could tell him to stop Magikarping.
Yeah.
I did love my Sherlock Holmes reference in there, though. For however you always see but do not observe.
Yeah, that was good. I don't know. Mish is in the chat. Mish, maybe you could start doing that with some of your memes or something. Like, find a way to call like the Spurgs on Twitter a Magikarp or something like that.
Guys on Twitter, Gyarados. Guys in real life, Magikarp.
Yeah,
hit your level 20 already.
25, right?
20.
Oh, nice. Thank the Lord.
It's 20. Yeah. I think
just catch the shiny Gyarados in Lake of Rage.
Gosh, that was always so cool. Yes. Let's see. First gen for me would be Blastoise, Weezing, and probably, gosh, I don't even know after that. Articuno, maybe? I don't know.
No legendaries. Legendaries are cheating.
Okay, so if we're not doing legendaries, then, I mean, let's see. I have to get back on that because I'm like, there's so many in my brain right now, but I know Blastoise and Weezing were always mains to me. Maybe
why Weezing?
Because I don't know. I've just always had a soft spot
poison
for him.
Types.
He's just fun.
Like, why would you want lung cancer as a Pokemon?
Because in the 5th gen, my favorite's the garbage bag. So I don't know. I can't say much.
It's like Erica used chemo. It was super effective.
Victory Bell. That's the other one. There we go. I like Victory Bell.
Oh, that's a good choice. How about you, Hawk?
Well, to not do any repeats, I'll probably pick Scyther. I always liked him. Always thought it was very, very cool. Let me think here.
Gen 1. Charizard if you like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'll have to.
We're gonna have to fight for Sydney Sweeney anyway. So
yeah. Let me think. Another Gen 3 one that I really like. I dig Arbok. I think Arbok is pretty cool.
Did you know Arbok is Cobra?
Cobra spelled backwards. Yeah, man.
Like snake.
That's I wonder if it's the same thing, like actually in Japanese, if they have it like spelled backwards snake. It probably can't be just because of like language barriers and stuff. But I always thought that was interesting. You know, it's like you have a game that's like actually designed by Japanese people and then converted into English, but so many of the same words and stuff like that, they have like word plays in the English language, which I'm like, how does that work? I wonder if the translations actually work for like metaphors in the Japanese language.
No, I don't think they would, because like they have the aru behind it. It's like ekintaru or abakaru. So I don't think that works.
No, probably not.
Yeah, Albok.
I know like nothing. I know next to no Japanese, so
Arubaku.
Yeah, Arubaku, Albok. We are so cultural.
Arbok also had different designs per like region too.
I thought that was a thing for a while. Yeah. Daniel, Mr. Mortal Kombat.
Okay, I wanted to say one more thing about Pirates 4, which it does have my favorite scene ever with Penelope Cruz.
She's a very attractive woman.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah.
Sydney, I'm not cheating on you. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna need a brunette. I'm gonna need a brunette.
I was in the movie. I went and I saw Pirates 4 in the theaters with my then girlfriend who was insecure, and when that scene came up where she just like pops him out or whatever to reveal she's a girl, you know, my girlfriend looks over at me and I'm like going. I remember looking at the screen. I looked over here. And I was like, "Oh shoot!" Too bad the movie went in 3D.
Now, the hottest girlfriend I ever had was like that.
Oh, really?
It was so stupid. Stupid. But I just love that scene where they're like on the ship, and Jack's got the music playing, like the guy with the guitar and shit like that, and he just looks at her, start dancing or whatever, and they recall memories, and he all of a sudden goes, "I remember a lot of riving, excessive riving." It's like, oh my god! Or at a certain point in the jungle where he points the sword at her, and she goes like, "How is it we can never meet without you pointing something at me?" It's like,
yeah. See, whatever happened to in movies where we were allowed to have like healthy sexual innuendo and stuff. And I was actually thinking about this earlier. I retweeted this earlier, and I'm sure, Governor, you were definitely in this comment section. I don't know if Jack saw it, but there was this. It was like a chick who was like on some kind of like laughing gas or something, like in the hospital. And
I saw that.
Oh. Yeah, and her boyfriend was there, and you know they were making out. She was just completely losing her shit because she like didn't like recognize the guy because she's like high on whatever drug they're giving her or something like this. Yep. And there were a bunch of like stupid spurgs that were complaining about like, oh, this isn't consent or whatever. This like creepy. She can't consent. You know, like get the fuck out of here. You know, like I was thinking about this. It was like, why are we not allowed to have like healthy levels of seduction, like push and pull and everything like this allowed in our media anymore? Like that's healthy to have. You know,
no, like that is not allowed, or it is allowed. But okay, first of all, yes, it is allowed. Second, the reason why people complain so much is because they're fat, ugly, and miserable.
Correct.
And they want the rest of the world to be fat, ugly, and miserable. Fortunately for you, I am hot, ripped, and desirable. So I will never join your ranks. Now, fuck off.
Yeah, just look at you. You're in a robe right now, you know?
Yeah, and I still look better than most of you. Jesus Christ, have you seen my... Raul had short hair and he couldn't get any. Look at mine. I'm getting plenty. It's like, fuck.
It was like that Twitter post I made earlier about, you know, the people complaining about it. They're going, I don't really care if something good happened to you. It should have happened to me instead.
Oh, you know, yeah,
exactly somebody said that to you?
He was making fun of people.
Picture I shared, and I was like, I said, this is pretty much. Let's see, I said, guys on here that complain about other men's successes with women, and I kind of had that exact video in mind because of the guys that were saying, "Oh, that's creepy. Oh, I would never do that. Oh, she, like you said, wasn't consenting," and that's why that picture came to mind. I don't care if something good happened.
I just
to you.
thought it was adorable. It was so adorable. She lost her mind when he kissed her. It's like,
yeah.
Like, I thought it was so cute. I really did.
That guy, he's cute. I like him. And then he kisses her, and she's like,
I liked Nuke's response to that on Twitter. He's like, "This is when your girl is drunk." Like, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, those were the days.
Yeah, for sure.
They're even better like that. No, it's even better when she's like that when she's sober. It's
yeah. When they're loving on you like that, yeah, it's nice. I mean, like,
I've
at the risk of us all being called gay. Like, oh,
I mean, I have always said that you want to get to the point where she's annoyingly in love with you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually like that. I know a lot of guys like will complain like when the chick is like way up on your business and like texting you and stuff like that. But number one, I like it because then I can like enforce a boundary. You know, like it's a good opportunity. It's like, hey, listen, like don't text me at XYZ time, like when I'm at work or something. You know, I got shit going on. But I actually like that when the girl is like clawing to get at you.
Yes,
you know? Yes.
That's what we want. Oh, but she is BPD. No.
Oh man! Look who's in the chat. Look at this guy.
Look at him, the most handsome man in Chicago.
Indeed, he's probably doing someone's taxes right now. And you know what? Chad is Chad is a great guy. He treated me to a nice pancake breakfast last Friday.
Before or after?
Yeah. Oh, it was after. It was after.
Oh, okay. Good. Gentlemen. True gentlemen.
Good to see you. And our veteran from South African Wars, 99 Iron Duke, is in the chat as well. Good to see you, dude.
Cool.
Been a while since we talked. We'll talk soon, man. But yeah, this guy's a certified badass. You know, a guy served in the British military, went to South Africa, killed a bunch of guys, and now chilling in Australia. He's a cool dude.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, he's a badass. Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, so why I was thinking about this topic, funny enough, about like the seduction push pull and everything like this, in addition to this cute video that was going around on Twitter, I was playing The Witcher 3 last night. And for those of you guys, I don't know if you guys have played the game, but there's a scene in the game when it's like the first moment in the game where you've seen Yennefer, and like canonically it's been like 3 years since Geralt and Yen have seen each other. And you have the option, your character has the option to go into a sex scene with Yennefer. So you could pick, obviously, going and banging Yen, because why don't you? And in the scene, like after they're done fucking, Yen is just standing there perfectly naked, and she says, "Oh, I must dress, turn around." And Geralt, you have the option to turn around or not. And of course you could say no, and you keep looking. And she just like is fooling with you, because obviously she's saying this because you're supposed to push that boundary. And this is what so many fucking spurgs don't get. It's like women's boundaries are meant to be broken. You know, this is like the stupid shit that Tricons get wrong all the fucking time. Like, oh, you got to respect the chick. You got to respect her boundaries. Like, no, motherfucker, you're supposed to push these fucking things. Because this is
take women's rights away.
This is how seduction works, man.
But oh my god, speaking of the trad cards, no, they have found Fresh and Fit and they're applying it.
Oh fuck, that's right. I saw that going. Well, obviously, I mean, let me check that. I got my other tab here. Oh Jesus, there's fucking Raul guys in my suggested who to follow now.
Yeah, it wasn't mine too. It's oh my god, but he still didn't get it. So he hit me up in the DMs. Yeah. I responded, and in all honesty, at that point, I was kind of done with making fun of him. Mm-hmm. So I was like, do you now understand why I went that route? Why I was making fun of you? And then he just didn't respond, and I'm like, dude, of course not. Like, you've got World Economic Forum in your bio, and you're probably telling chicks about it, and you're trying to wake them up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're trying to fuck them to sleep because they won't stop bothering us. I did that to my ex once.
Oh yeah.
I am not gonna. She was like so annoying. It's like, okay, you're gonna get it.
So I've got this. We were mentioning how the trads are getting in on the Fresh and Fit stuff, and I'm looking on my other tab right now, and this tweet that I tweeted out has got 15,000 views on it right now, shitting on these trads getting in on the Fresh and Fit sphere. It's such a joke, man. I mean, like, honestly, Ryan is so right when he says he hates the sphere, because like, now how could you not at this point? It's so absurd.
I wish Digital Ryan would become greater than his Ryan Stone channel tomorrow.
Well, the thing is, then he'd go away. We'd never see him again.
No, yes, we would. He would play Minecraft.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like Praxeology is a really good book.
It is, and I mean
Yeah.
his Twitter is amazing, but it makes me feel self-conscious, where it's like,
oh yeah, it's 100% true. You guys see that when like all of our guys, it's funny because like you'll have like one of our guys will put a tweet on the rest of our guys' radar, and then everybody else will start reacting to it. And every time I see Ryan's tweet, I'm like, oh god, I feel fucking stupid now.
yeah, it's like, why do I even bother?
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
never mind.
It's like, why don't we even talk on this subject? We literally have Ryan here.
Yeah, it's like, it just, hey, Ryan, fix it. You know what? Speak for all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, never mind. We'll shut up.
Hmm.
We are the watchers on the wall.
Yeah,
we are the watchers on the wall.
Exactly.
God.
Seeing as that the show is ostensibly supposed to be about Mortal Kombat, but we have to get Jack in here a little bit because he wasn't the biggest fan. So, Governor, what characters are you really excited for in Mortal Kombat 12? Do you have anybody to return? Who's your favorite, by the way, aside from Shao Kahn? Obviously, you like Shao Kahn.
Besides Shao Kahn, see, all the characters I would want to return aren't going to return. I don't think anytime soon. I would love to see him come back, but doubt it, considering he was supposed to be the big hype for the early DLC for 11, and that was the reason I bought it. But and Shang Tsung too, for that matter. He's my other favorite. Top two, they tie. I can't. Him and Shang Tsung. I loved the fact that they got the Kerry. What's his last name?
The original actor. Yeah.
Like that was just beautiful when they brought him back, and then the DLC brought back some of the other original actors too from the first movie, which was really cool. I thought that was cool. Touch. Yeah, but like,
we give another
Christopher Lambert's voice was very scratchy and everything. I didn't care. I was like, you know what? Yeah, it was so. It was cool.
I give Guff to NetherRealm Studios because they are probably one of the wokest gaming companies out there. They're really, really bad, and they've pretty much cut down on all cleavage whatsoever in the women, which really fucking sucks. Because you look at like Mortal Kombat 9, and the women are barely wearing any clothes, and now like Mortal Kombat 11, they're basically like. It's like they're vacationing in Misha's country, you know. It's so absurd.
That is exactly the point I was going to get to earlier too. I was going to address that. Is that they purposefully? It's like they put the guys in less clothes and they put the girls in more, and they started covering them up more. They did a good job with Sindel. She looks great in 11. I thought. And I did love the relationship character. I know a lot of people hated that plot twist where it turns out she was just with Shao Kahn the whole time, but I was like, seeing her and Shao Kahn play off each other as like this couple's goal type of couple, I was like, I like that. If I was a super villain, that would
I was actually fine with that. Yeah, I didn't mind that lore change. I know some people were pissed about it, but I liked it.
Yeah, but going to answer your question,
oh no, go ahead.
You what? Oh no, I was gonna say going back to your favorites though, or my favorites. I'd say I like Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung. I like Stryker, and I know what people will say, but I love Stryker. Cabal, and then if I were to choose out of like the ninjas and stuff, like if I had to choose one of, I like Scorpion or Noob Saibot. I like those two. Motaro would be cool, but not the Armageddon Motaro where he had 2 legs. We need to bring him back to having 4 again.
Yeah, they're never going to bring him back. They can't do it anymore.
But top 3 would be Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, and Stryker for sure.
Yeah, I dig Stryker, but they'll never put him in another Mortal Kombat game because he's a cop, and they're gonna have jokes about like police brutality and stuff. So they'll never put him back in one anymore.
That was the best intro too. Police brutality coming right up.
Yeah, in Mortal Kombat 9, they played up to it. That was his intro. It's like, here comes the police brutality.
Police brutality coming right up. I was like, yes.
Yeah, there's been some hilarious George Floyd memes mixed in with that. It's oh man, trust me, you gotta go out.
To the days where like video games were so fucking edgy and like, memes all around, where it's like, oh, this is controversial. Let's go.
I kind of laugh too because I remember there was like a rumor going around in 11 that they were going to have Stryker come back and have him played by John Cena, and I can't see him as anything other than that now. I'm like, dang it! Now
that would have been cool, but no, they can't do it.
Ridiculous. I would have loved it.
Yeah, I my personal favorite's always been Johnny Cage. I really like Johnny Cage. He's fun to play. He's just a complete asshole.
He's hilarious. He has the best intros. Man, he even has some good brutalities and fatalities. Like I'm like, he is so good. You can't not like Johnny Cage.
He breaks the fourth wall a lot, which I really like. And he's such a wise ass. He's like a Bugs Bunny kind of character in this extremely violent game. He's just been cracking jokes all the time.
And I would say they did a really good job with Cassie to a degree. They made her annoying like Sonya, but also funny like Johnny Cage. So I was like, it was a good mix of the two.
She was my main in Mortal Kombat 11. I liked her combos a lot, and she had the most crushing blows of all characters, which is another reason why I really liked her. Because you could just set up some really, really good combos if you knew what you were doing. But she had like so little health. So if you got like combo juggled once, you were in really bad shape. But yeah, so she was a lot of fun to play. I also really like Aaron Black. How could I not? The American cowboy character. How could I not like him? And then I like all the cyborg ninjas too, which will be interesting if they bring them back. So
yeah, that was another one that I was actually disappointed they didn't bring back for 11 was Cyrax. He's my favorite of the cyborgs because I liked his net attack and then lead that into a combo in Mortal Kombat 3. That was so fun.
Yeah, I loved him in Mortal Kombat X where they had all 4 of the cyber ninjas in one.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was cool. Like, and the fact that they just kind of teased it in 11 when you fight Sector and Cyrax, I was going, okay, so that means you're going to put them either as DLC or I can unlock them later. But then I thought, who am I to say this anymore? Games these days, you don't unlock characters, you buy them. I miss the days of fighting games where you'd unlock a character by playing over and over in the arcade mode or in the story or whatever.
Yeah, that's so true. What did you think of Frost? Did you like Frost and MK11? Or no?
She always came off to me as like this tough girl lesbian dyke type or something.
True.
Like, I don't know. It's like it was her style that like it always bothered me. Like she was always like trying to be like, I'm the tough guy. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna do. And then like I love how it seems like half the reactions from the characters were like, I don't care who you are. Well, I don't know. I was not big on her. Now, as for her move pool and stuff, cool moves, stuff like that. It was interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought the design was kind of cool.
Yeah, cool design for the most part. I just, her voice and her mannerisms otherwise just always turned me off. That was just because she reminded me of people I've known in my life that I'd rather forget.
Yeah. So I mean, we got that game looking forward to. We'll see as like the trailers and the hype like officially gets launched here. I'm suspecting some kind of like September or October launch date because that's normally when your games get released. Sometime around the fall. So we'll be keeping our eyes out for that one.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see what characters are going to have in there because, I mean, I'm sure Kitana's going to come back and Melina was brought back almost by, like, it seemed like popular demand. Everybody wanted Melina
as
back.
a DLC character.
She came back for 11, and so
I don't think you will. I don't think you'll ever have another Mortal Kombat game ever where they don't have the original roster on the game. Like, I think they're just set in stone at this point. Like, your Mortal Kombat 1 characters are just making it into every single game. There's no way they're not.
That was exactly what I thought too, because when they released another trailer for Tekken 8, I think they said, "Oh yeah, now announcing a new fighter, Jin Kazama." And I went, "Next thing you're going to tell me is Ryu and Ken are going to be in Street Fighter 6, and Sub-Zero and Scorpion are going to be in Mortal Kombat 12." It's like you can't not have those staple main characters or original characters like that.
Yeah. The thing about Mortal Kombat, I mean, like, we got to give, if I'm going to give NetherRealm credit for one thing, I mean, they really are like the best at making fighting games. I mean, I know people really like Street Fighter and everything like this, but really it was NetherRealm that created fighting games as we know it. And they really are the best in the business. I mean, I really get mad at them because like they're a really woke company, and especially with Mortal Kombat 11, they invested a lot of microtransactions into the game, which is really aggravating. But at the same time, like their games are just so good, man. They do them better than anybody else, and they also have the most diverse roster of characters throughout Mortal Kombat. There's something like 60 characters that have now appeared like throughout their games at this point.
Yeah,
crazy.
Is that more on Smash?
I'm trying to think too.
Maybe. The thing about Smash though is that so many of the characters are basically like skins over each other. Like the Mortal Kombat games, like every single character is different, to some degree, and it actually kind of makes it rough because at best you can get maybe like 35 in a game is the best you can get. And that leaves like a lot of really, really fan favorites and really, really good ones just aren't making it in some of these games. And also they keep making new ones. They keep making new characters too, because they got to advance things forward and they're like testing out new mechanics and things like that, which really puts them at odds with the fans because they're like, oh, well, we have to put in this new character for this new thing because we're trying new things. But like that means an old character that's established that people really like isn't making it into the game, which really, really sucks.
Yeah, that's it's like they really limit their rosters too. Like I would love to see a Mortal Kombat 12 have like a roster like Armageddon did, where I think it was like 62 characters in that one. And then like we don't see stuff like that or Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that had 56 characters, anything like that anymore. Like now, granted, Marvel vs. Capcom had 2 different franchises to jump on, which had hundreds of characters to use, but it's just like I like a game that has a large selection like that and where you can just choose whatever you like and then go with it. And when they really limit you, it makes it a little less fun for me.
I will say this, another franchise that NetherRealm has done amazing work with is Injustice. I don't know if you're familiar with the Injustice franchise at all, Jack, but that is some really, really fun stuff that they did with that. That was literally a video game concept that they turned into a comic book, that they turned into a movie, and is now one of the most popular like comic books in all of DC. You know, is the Injustice storyline, which is
really, I
really
remember
cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was literally a NetherRealm invention. They made a video game. They thought about this. They're like, okay, well, what if we make like Superman Evil? And like that game sold like hotcakes, and then they turned it into a comic and they turned it into a movie, which I think would be an amazing TV series.
So that's where the evil Superman trope came from. That we have now. It's like,
but they actually like did a really, really good job in Injustice with it, and those 2 games are also really, really good as well. And originally, what NetherRealm has been doing is they make a Mortal Kombat game, then they make an Injustice game, then they make another Mortal Kombat game. Unfortunately, they lost their rights with like Warner Brothers or something. They got in like a big dispute or something around the same time of like all this other DC, like the actual movie stuff is going on. So they had to put Injustice 3 on hold, which was really, really weird. And that's why Mortal Kombat 12 is coming out right after Mortal Kombat 11. Because normally they would have done Injustice 3, but it's caught in like development hell because like Warner Brothers has their head up their ass. And that's what's weird too, because Mortal Kombat 11, normally the life cycle is like 3 years, but they cut it off at 2 years. And there was a bunch of leaks about like new DLC coming out. Like they were going to add like Deathstroke into the game in Mortal Kombat 11 because they already added in Joker. And so like, okay, we're going to put in Deathstroke now too. And that ended up getting scrapped, which I really hope if we do get guest characters in Mortal Kombat 12, I want Deathstroke, the Terminator, showing up in Mortal Kombat 12 because he would be perfect for it. He would be perfect for slicing people up and doing all sorts of gruesome fatalities and everything. Man. Yeah, he'd be perfect for a Mortal Kombat game. Yeah, give me Deathstroke, please.
That would be perfect. I remember they had issues, like DC had issues with fatalities being performed on their characters or having their characters do them unless it was a villain. So Deathstroke would be perfect for something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it was really hard for them to just get Joker into Mortal Kombat 11 because they're like, oh, are we okay with one of our most established characters getting his head chopped off?
Are we okay with him killing and getting killed? Well, yeah, it's about time he gets killed and doesn't get sent to Arkham.
Oh man, he's had worse in the comics, getting his face cut off, needing to
getting punched by Superman.
I really, really hated Joker in Mortal Kombat 11 because he's one of the hardest characters to play against. He's got such a manic and crazy fighting style, and so many of his moves are really, really hard to block. So Joker's always a pain in the ass. If you go up against a good Joker player, you're in trouble. Because he's got really, really good mix-ups and everything like this. But he's also hilarious. Like his fatality is actually really, really funny. So at least they did a good job with that. Let's see now. I guess the last little bit I'll mention on like violent games, everything. Did you guys ever get into GTA?
A bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, same with me as well. I know some guys are like really, really hardcore into like GTA 5 and are still playing it. I mean, that game came out 10 years ago, man.
Yeah.
And still the #1 selling game of all time.
Yeah, 10 years ago, and that thing's still getting down like DLC. They're barely even talking about a GTA 6 because 5 is doing so well. It's like Skyrim.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, why do you need to make new stuff if people are still playing the old? I mean,
Yep.
As far as Rockstar is concerned, I always preferred the Red Dead series as opposed to GTA.
Yeah, I like Red Dead.
Yeah, I do as well. So I mean, but that's a pretty violent game as well. But yeah, I mean, we need these violent games are fun. They're very enjoyable. We should keep them around. They should just be. Oh, another one, Doom, like the original Doom and Wolfenstein.
Yep.
Like
especially Wolfenstein.
Yeah, very violent. Oh my goodness, especially the new rebooted Wolfenstein. I don't know if you guys have played those.
I've wanted to.
Oh man, there might be some of like the most graphic and gruesome games you ever played. Like people like ripping each other's eyeballs out and shit. It's like, yeah, it's gruesome as shit, dude. But
wow,
we need that. We need that kind of violence in our lives, right?
Sometimes
just a little bit.
I mean, sometimes we do. Like, look at Korean shows. I'm now watching like something called The Glory, and it's absolutely brutal how some chick that got bullied in middle school is now grown up and she wants to take revenge on her bullies.
Ugh.
And she goes to psychological warfare with them. It is just so fucking brutal. Wow. And some guys get killed and shit like that, and they just do it violently.
The evidence is mounting, Jack, isn't it?
What, with me?
Yeah, with you. Yeah. You did everything. Yeah, just
I did.
You're identifying. You have the name of the Joker. You've got this strange robe, like that guy from Silence of the Lambs. Your hair's all over the place. Like, man,
God, no.
See,
I would like there was I don't know if you guys remember this, but the organizer of a convention who shall not be named actually made the argument that Rollo Tomasi chose the name of a no good character, therefore he must be no good. I'm like, well, with that argument,
did he really make that? What a faggot!
Me too.
For that. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Fuck.
Well, we're at the hour mark, so
yeah.
But by that logic, I am in a hell of a lot of trouble.
I mean, yeah, but by that logic, I mean, I got
instruments of torture.
My tooth decay remover, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever.
I could do deadly things with this.
Yeah. Well, you gotta take care of your pearly whites now. You got the braces removed and everything.
Right?
So absolutely. Help me get the girls.
Yeah, get the girls.
Get to the girls.
I even got the girls with the braces. It was
really
kind of getting used to, but
see, you using a Clary quote there made me think of something earlier when you were talking about Leisure Suit Larry. We need to get like a game called Leisure Suit Clary. Like we need to like
yes.
Why would he fit in that so well?
Man. There's been some very good memes of Cappy recently. They're just so fun.
They crack me up all the time.
He makes it too easy. Oh man, look who's in the chat now.
Yes,
look at this guy.
To say that too.
There he is.
Robert.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He and I met for lunch earlier this week as well. Yeah, we had some fun time. And we were talking to the girl that was our waitress and all the alpha males we've been freaking out on Twitter because we were being nice to this girl, asking her about her tattoos and everything, and actually having a conversation. I know, gasp indeed. Like, my God, I thought we were supposed to hate on the woman, and I thought girls with tattoos are complete no-go zones. What the hell?
Aren't Raoul's arms bigger than yours?
Yeah. Oh man. All right, fellas, let's wrap this up. Jack, where can people find you?
At Jack Napier Knows on Twitter and on YouTube at Jack Napier Knows. Red Evening, the flagship. By the way, Rob isn't there this week, so we might take another break, or I'm having Nuke on if he's free. Otherwise, one of you schmucks.
I'm gonna be flying. I'm gonna be in the air. So unfortunately,
well, you are Hawk.
Well,
I don't think I got anything.
I've been made very self-conscious about my arms. The size matches my dick, so that's okay.
Yeah. Do you have any spots for coaching available so people can get your arms as good as you?
Yeah, that's a good point. I do have a spot open for coaching. So if you want to have micro arms, you just go to my channel and you apply for the monthly accountability program, or what I'm about to put in the chat. Where is Le Chat? Le Chat is here. So oh, I'm not a mod. This is
Oh, we can fix that. But put your thing in the chat. I'll make you mod.
I put the thing in the chat.
Okay. All right. Cool. Right now, Governor, where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me at GOV_Megatron on Twitter or full word Governor Megatron on YouTube. I've still been doing live streams and posting short videos of me on dance video games and whatnot, and got a couple subscribers yesterday, actually, or the other day playing it. Had a group of people come up and they're like, "What's your YouTube tag? You're live streaming, you're playing." I was like, "Yeah, it's this or that," but that's where you can find me on there, and probably do a couple more live streams of video gaming, and y'all can chat me up on there and have a good time.
Righto. All right, cool. And I guess for me, all I will say is we've got our show Man's Hour coming up in about an hour and a half. Governor is actually pulling double duty tonight on that one. We're talking about ghosts, spirits, cryptids, and other monsters. So that'll be a fun talk. We've got yeah, well, yeah, they're monsters of all kinds, aren't they? So that'll be fun. So come tune into us with that later. And then also check out the Old Glory Club. Alamo Day was on Monday, so we had 6 hours worth of content on the Alamo and about Texas. So go check all that stuff out at the Old Glory Club. Awesome. And we'll see you guys next time.